Hello everyone, and welcome to my UK Royal Family News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a recent Channel 4 broadcast, the plot to abduct Princess Anne in 1974 was revealed. The Princess Royal almost escaped after a guy tried to kidnap her for ransom while holding her car at gunpoint. Tonight, Channel 4 will broadcast a new documentary that details the scheme to kidnap Princess Anne and hold her hostage in exchange for ransom. The documentary will recreate the incident scenario along the mall using a custom-built model. Interviews with Jim Beaton, the former bodyguard of the Princess Royal, and boxer Ronnie Russell, who happened to be nearby and stepped in to help, are also included in the episode. According to Princess Anne, the plot to kidnap a royal. On March 20, 1974, while Anne and her first husband, Captain Mark Phillips, were returning to Buckingham Palace following a charity function, another car got in their way. Ian Ball, the car's driver, then reached for a weapon and shot Mr. Beaton, who was in charge of guarding the pair, as well as a nearby journalist who had attempted to step in. Mr. Beaton pulled his own gun after being struck in the shoulder, but it stuck on the second shot. Anne responded with a surprising amount of composure when Mr. Ball requested her to get out of the car. Not bloody likely. Mr. Ball had intended to hold Anne for ransom for £2 million. Thankfully, boxer Ronnie Russell, who was also walking by, intervened to end the fight by striking Mr. Ball in the head. Mr. Beaton, who is now 80 years old, received the George Cross as compensation for his gallantry, together with Mr. Russell. The former bodyguard and chauffeur reflected on the incident in 2020 while speaking to The Times. "I felt it was someone who wanted to be a pain in the neck. What will happen was not hinted at." Mr. Beaton entered the vehicle to safeguard the princess and her husband as Mr. Ball attempted to force his way inside despite having already been shot and experiencing a gun jam. In an interview with the police after being shot once more in the hand and once more in the abdomen while attempting to block Mr. Ball's shots, Mr. Beaton said, "I felt exhausted and really inebriated, although I hadn't been drinking. All I wanted to do was lie down." That evening, the journalist Brian McConnell, Anne's driver Alexander Callender, and police officer Michael Hills were all shot, although mercifully none of them perished. When Anne met Mr. Beaton later, he was recuperating in the hospital and talking to The Times about how security procedures at the palace were altered as a result of the attempted kidnapping. "I had nothing," he declared. "There wasn't a backup car. The training was non-existent. But we also assumed that nothing would transpire. They have advanced training and are highly specialized." Due to his schizophrenia diagnosis, Ian Ball was committed to Broadmoor Hospital after his arrest and guilty plea to attempted murder and kidnapping. He is still there today. The royal family's pillar of strength during the first Balmoral summer without the Queen was Princess Anne. XCUSIV. Princess Anne is expected to play a significant role this year as the royal family continues its long-standing custom of spending some of the summer at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. According to a body language specialist, Princess Anne will serve as the royal family's pillar of strength when they return to Balmoral for the summer. The royal family will once again be together in the Scotland House, as Queen Elizabeth II started doing. King Charles and Queen Camilla intend to carry on this tradition. However, in light of the late Queen's passing in September, it is likely to be bittersweet for the family. According to body language expert Darren Stanton, the Princess Royal will serve as the group's unifying force. The Queen's immediate offspring would feel it the most, according to Mr. Stanton, who spoke on behalf of Slingo to Express.co.uk, as they have only known life at Balmoral with the monarch. Princess Anne is a very strong individual, and I think she's going to be very important to maintain the stability, especially the emotional stability of those who are feeling upset, he said. She possesses the same stoicism as the Queen and will provide her kin with support. Because of their common work ethic, sense of humor, and passion for horses, Princess Anne and the Queen got along well. Due to the numerous engagements and appearances she makes on a regular basis, Anne is now frequently referred to as the most diligent royal. The 72-year-old continued to go above and beyond for the Queen by accompanying her mother's coffin on the 6-hour trip from Balmoral to Edinburgh. The King is anticipated to travel much less before returning to public engagements than the Queen, who used to live at Balmoral until October. King Charles, 74, and Queen Camilla, 75, have remained in Birkhall, their Jacobean mansion on the edge of the estate, ever since the transition of the throne. The royal family probably won't move into the castle for another week or so after the King visits Birkhall in July, when the grounds, gardens, and displays are still accessible to the public through August 16. According to a royal source, we anticipate the family will be present during the summer. But sorting through journals continues. Balmoral was referred to as the late Queen's happy place throughout her reign, where she spent the majority of her summers. The family could escape the prying eyes of the public, explore the outdoors, and ride horses on the 50,000-acre estate in Aberdeen's Dee Valley. The Queen's granddaughter, Princess Eugenie, stated in a documentary that the monarch is most happy there. She remarked, "I believe she has a deep passion for the Highlands, for us to visit Granny and Grandpa. It's a great base where there is just enough space to breathe and run." When asked about the divorce, Princess Anne allegedly gave her ex-husband a scathing look. Princess Anne was previously wed to Captain Mark Phillips, the father of Peter and Zara, before she wed Timothy Lawrence. A body language specialist exclusively examined an interview between the Princess Royal and her then-husband from 1983 for Express.co.uk. In Australia, in 1983, Princess Anne and her ex-husband Captain Mark Phillips attended a Parkinson TV special. Michael Parkinson questioned the couple about their marital problems before they later split in 1992. In an exclusive interview with Express.co.uk, body language expert Judy James described how the Princess Royal and her then-husband approached the interview questions very differently. She asserted, "Anne is at her haughty best in this interview, trying to maintain regal control with certain threatening techniques like her head tilt, elevated chin, and one arched brow." Michael Parkinson even seems to lose his Yorkshire accent in favor of something that sounds differentially upper class, which is an illustration of her overwhelming presence. However, when he inquires about the rumors surrounding their marriage, both Anne and Mark start to lose their composure. At the mention of the word divorce, we can see Anne's eyes jump from side to side in a cut-off ritual, indicating a very slight inner terror. Mark starts to grin apprehensively as he glances down at his hands in an even stronger cut-off ritual. Both of them make an effort to remain composed, but telltale signs of nervous leakage are visible in their hands. Mark's joined hands start to tremble, and even Anne's fingers fumble around to show that she is uncomfortable. According to the body language specialist, the Princess Royal's looks in his general way made her ex-husband seem more nervous. Anne appears to be trying to read Mark's response or embarrass him by asking the question directly to him, according to Judy. He laughs violently when they make eye contact, which gives the impression that he is apprehensive around her. "What are you doing here?" is her remark, which is met with an awkward joke about going by other doors. But there is no true denial. By claiming that gossip has been going on for years, Anne actually pulls a political swerve. However, when Mark begins to speak, she cuts him off again by looking down. Judy speculated that Princess Anne appeared scathing in response to Mark's action. When she does look up at her husband, the body language expert continued, her expression appears caustic. The gap that follows when Parkinson asks how they feel about the rumors is comparable to the toe-curling pause Charles created when he responded, "Whatever in love means," during his engagement interview. Mark squeaks and laughs tensely as he strains to talk. Even while she observes him, Anne pokes her tongue out in rejection or disapproval. Mark, according to Judy, fell into a verbal ditch near the end. In the end, Mark falls into a verbal ditch of his own making, she observed. His response is, I feel like I'm dying for the chance to say something to knock it all over. This is true despite the fact that he gets that chance straight away and hasn't done much to knock it over. Anne has a classic nonverbal tell. Her sardonic smirk does little to imply that their marriage is on track, as her eyes move to the front as though contemplating what her spouse has said. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any updates.